Hello and hope you are happy. Today we want to talk about the most expensive man-made creature. In your opinion, which man-made object is the most expensive object in the world? Is this man-made practical? To answer this question, stay with us up to the end of this video. The International Space Station has been recognized as the most expensive man-made object ever. The space station was built at a cost of $100 billion, with Europe, Russia, Japan, and Canada paying the rest. The seeds of this achievement were sown in 1985 in response to the then President Ronald Reagan's 1984 speech on the state of the country, in which Reagan announced the construction of a space station within a decade. Nearly 10 years later, NASA spent $8.8 billion designing plans for an American space station but did not begin production. In 1993, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Bill Clinton signed agreements with Russia, Japan, Canada, and several European countries to build and man the International Space Station. In the first 30 years of the space station project, NASA spent $58.7 billion on the project. Subscribe our YouTube channel to watch the rest of this video and more. The organization spent another $54 billion sending space shuttles to the station to build and maintain it. The orbital laboratory has been manned since 2000, adding more cost to the overall budget. By 2015, the maintenance budget of the International Space Station is estimated at $3 billion annually, raising many doubts about how long the project will last. Some argue that the costs are justified by potential research opportunities in space where a weightless environment makes it impossible to achieve the impossible on Earth. Others argue that such research is highly unlikely to conclude at such high cost. Now join us in the continuation of this video to get more acquainted with this expensive and costly multinational station. Where is the International Space Station? The ISS is a space station built with participation of more than 15 countries. This space station orbits the Earth at an altitude of 350 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The ISS orbits at a speed of 27,700 kilometers per hour, orbiting the planet 15 times a day. Most of the main parts of this space station were built, but in 2015 several new parts were added to it. Upon completion, the International Space Station will weigh 450 tons and provide 1,200 cubic meters of work, research and living space for astronauts. The ISS is visible at night as a moving star to the naked eye. The ISS is a joint venture between NASA, the Russian, the European, the Japan, and the Canadian Space Agency. The Brazilian, the Italian, and the Chinese Space Agency has also expressed interest in joining the participants, especially through cooperation with the Russian Space Agency. The ISS is in fact a child and a combination of several space projects previously planned by different countries. These programs include the Mir 2 Space Station in Russia, the Space Station in USA, the Columbus Space Laboratory in Europe, and the Kibo Space Laboratory in Japan. The presence of astronauts on the International Space Station has continued uninterrupted since the beginning of the first mission. As the spacecraft connect and new camps arrive, the number of astronauts inside the station will temporarily increase to more than 10 people. Two spacecraft, each with a capacity of 3 people, are permanently attached to the station for emergency evacuation in case of danger. So far, astronauts from 16 countries have stayed at the station. Do you know how long does it take to get to the ISS? Stay with us. The ISS is located about 350 kilometers above the Earth. This means that if we drive directly into the air at 65 miles per hour, it only takes 3 hours to reach the ISS. But there is a small problem, and that is that the International Space Station orbits the Earth at a speed of 17,500 miles per hour. It only takes 8 minutes for astronauts to travel from space to space by spacecraft. It can take up to 3 days to take a space station in orbit. During this time, the spacecraft crew orbits the Earth about 30 times. In 2013, Russian astronauts reached the ISS in just 6 hours, and it was a record. The first part of the station was launched into orbit on November 20, 1998, and 2 years later on November 20, 2000, with the arrival of the first astronaut camp, useful use of the station began. In addition to the station itself, ground-based flight control organizations in various countries monitor the space station's operations. Now let's talk about the main applications of the ISS. Space laboratory for conducting new research and experiments that are not possible or difficult to do on Earth due to gravity. Permanent observatory in Earth orbit to observe the Earth, the Sun, the solar system, and the universe. Orbital transportation center where spacecraft, cargo, and various parts can be collected and after assembly and adjustment, send them to desired destination. Service center for repair, maintenance, and adjustment of spacecraft and satellites in Earth orbit. Construction center for assembly and installation of large space structures. And Center for Research Cooperation with the private sector in the field of aerospace engineering with the aim of advancing space technology and further encouraging the private sector to invest in it. What is your idea about this video, about this man-made creature? Why is it this much expensive? Is it useful or not? Leave your comments for us. If you like these types of video, subscribe our YouTube channel to see the rest of them.